my word, what a save.
She gets around Dunbar, out wide, but she puts it in the net. Lovely strike, lovely bit of play.
Oh, and he's looking to catch the goalkeeper out. It is an unbelievable goal.
Hello and welcome to Kickoff, the Football New South Wales podcast for NPL men's, women's and leagues competitions. Teo Pellizzeri with you, and my co-host for this episode is Abdul Salam, better known as Abs from UBF. Abs, great to see you.
Lovely to be here today. I'll tell you what, when it comes to sitting on a podcast, I'm usually used to sitting next to Thomas Miletic, but when it comes to today, biggest pleasure of sitting next to you.
Well, it's great to see you because you are out and about. You're our man on the ground, as are many of the social media producers. I do see you behind goals at games that I'm commentating and making sure to get out and chat to the players. And on that note, instead of, say, a moment of the month, maybe what's stuck in your memory from getting out and going around the grounds in Football New South Wales competitions so far this season that you would like to offer up as a highlight?
I will say this, it's a bit of recency bias, but Aoife Horgan's goal against Nepean on the weekend. Cut inside, took it on the right foot, picked out the top corner, and if you were there live and you've seen it, you would have heard me gasping from about 100 metres away because it just took my breath away.
Now, that is real football home ground because you've chosen Women's League One. It was, Nepean against SD Raiders?
In the middle of a park that's just fenced, and you would not think it's a stadium, it's genuinely a park out in Nepean.
Mate, you're getting out, and that's what we love about this competition, the stories, the travel, getting to see parts of the city that you might have no reason to visit otherwise, all because of football and where the fixture may send you. My highlight is actually a bit obvious, but I have to take it because myself and Alex Molchanoff were fortunate enough to be calling the game between Sydney United 58 and Marconi on Easter Monday. Bumper crowd out at the Sydney United Sports Centre. I actually got there about 3 hours before kickoff because I knew that all the parking spots would be gone and had to get the broadcast gear up to the stadium. But it was an intriguing game, great quality in the first half, a bit more of an arm wrestle in the second. Sydney United won to keep their winning streak going. But just the noise and the passion of the crowd is exactly what we dream that NPL can be growing towards, these marquee occasions that aren't necessarily a grand final, just get bigger and better. You were there at ground level. How did you experience the day?
It was amazing. The clubmen were there again at Sydney United. Had the fortunate enough experience to speak to and interview Tony Popovich as well. And in terms of the crowd, you got to give credit where credit's due to Sydney United. I don't think there's another team in the league that is able to rack in a crowd like that, but not just bring in numbers, but bring in atmosphere and make you feel like you're sitting in the stands back in 1980 when they were Sydney, Croatia, and the songs were singing for 90 minutes.
One other little one I will mention, and it was a different Marconi away game, maybe just coincidence, but when they went to St George at Barton Park, it was the same night as the Women's Asian Cup final. Now, I probably shouldn't admit this on the podcast. I thought the Women's Asian Cup final was on the Sunday. So I'd put myself down to commentate on the Saturday thinking it was a free day. But I didn't cancel. I didn't pike. And I went and commentated St George versus Marconi. But the crowd was about 800 at Barton Park. Grandstand full, youngsters from junior teams lining the fence. And so it doesn't have to be a crowd in the thousands. As long as it's full, you can get the same effect at a Penshurst, at a Rockdale. It's really great to get out to these suburban grounds. And if they're at capacity and the entire club is engaged, as St George were that night for, they were on a streak of their own and a big occasion, you can get a really special experience.
And success goes a long way. I've had the fortunate experience to get up and close with St George FC this year, and I'll tell you what, when they were going on that run, the crowd was packing in. The juniors were getting into the goalkeepers behind the stands, and it was starting to feel like the NPL was becoming what it wanted to be from the get-go. And I said it a couple of weeks ago online. I said that the NPL is growing in relevancy, and it's definitely starting to compete with other leagues around Australia. And the backbone of this competition, going back to the game we were talking about, I think has been those two clubs, Sydney United and Marconi, in terms of bringing numbers, in terms of bringing, that history to the competition as well.
Now, before we jump into our guests, as part of kickoff, just need to acknowledge at the Emerging Matildas Championships, congratulations to the New South Wales Under-15 Sky team on being the champions in that division. Also, player of the tournament for Evie Murphy of Manly United in the Under-15s and Tessa Young of the Western Sydney Wanderers in the New South Wales under-16. So even though they didn't win the trophy, Tessa Young still won the MVP. Selena Mifsud from the Western City Rangers won the top scorer in the under-15s as well. So they didn't win both trophies down at the home of the Matildas. And the next time we convene for kickoff, we will have completed the Boys Emerging Socceroos Championships, which are being staged at Valentine Sports Park. So good stuff from the under-15s to bring home one of the two big trophies from the Emerging Matildas Championships.
It's nice to know that footballers within New South Wales are competing at that level and are, as it is in the name, emerging through the ranks. And it's nice to see us bringing home some silverware as well.
So let's get to our guests. We're going to start with NPL Men's this week, and one of the players who was part of that blockbuster game against Sydney United 58. But on the defeated team, we're going to get the Marconi perspective with Teng Kuol. He's up next. Every NPL New South Wales match live, free and on demand on YouTube. Subscribe to the Football New South Wales YouTube channel today. Welcome back to Kickoff. It's time to talk NPL Men's New South Wales, and our guest from the Marconi Stallions is Teng Kuol. Teng, great to see you. Thanks for coming into Valentine Sports Park today.
Thank you very much.
So we speak to you at a time when the league has really started to shake out. Marconi are contenders this year, but you're still looking up the ladder at RPL Leichhardt, at Sydney United. How are you finding the title chase this season? Obviously, Marconi are expecting to be right up there as the season goes on, but how have you found the first third of the season so far?
It's been very good. I feel like you can see there's a lot of teams that are competing at the top and a lot of teams that are challenging, and it's been good.
And over the past few years, you've played a different number of positions. We've seen you play at centre-back, and midfield, at striker, sometimes out wide. Do you think you've finally settled into your best position?
I think so. Like, I don't mind playing anywhere, but, I think the more you play in one, you kind of get the consistency, and it's probably better for your career. So, yeah.
Well, you're still scoring banger goals from outside the box at centre-back anyway, so you've still got that striker's instinct in you. And what's the biggest difference been between playing at Marconi and Sydney Olympic after last year?
The biggest difference, I feel like there's a lot of different ways that you can look at it. Like, I think the squads are very different, the coaching staff, the resources, like a whole different environment. That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
How would you describe Peter Sekenis as a coach? Is he a coach that has a lot of one-to-one instructions for you? Does he like to talk to the team as a group? Like, how does he mix his messages when he talks to you about the position and the role you play as well?
I think he's very clear. I think pretty much like if he wants to address something, he'll tell you direct. He's very old school, and it's kind of, I think that's the reason why the team's performing really well, because everyone kind of knows exactly like what to do and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, and I've had the fortunate experience of getting managed by Peter Sekenis myself. We had a charity match last year. He came down, and people can kind of assume sometimes he's a bit, not so much the angry type of manager, but sort of a very serious person. I've been able to see the other side of Peter. Do you get to see that in training quite often? Yeah,
definitely. He has his banter, of course, but yeah, he knows when to be serious as well. So it's good.
When push comes to shove,
yeah.
It's time to pull the sleeves up and get going. Yeah.
What would you say is the best goal you've scored in the NPL? When you think about him, is there one that stands out in your mind? Because I recall one for Olympic that you scored at Marconi last season. I think it was in the very first minute where you skinned a couple of players against the sideline and smashed it in. But what sticks in your memory as the best NPL goal you've scored?
Yeah, I'd probably say that one. Yeah, because I was thinking there's a few. But I think with that one, I've picked up the ball from the throw, and I've tried to play Cyrus, but it's kind of blocked, and it came back to my feet, and then I've decided to dribble inside and nutmeg TJ and scored near post against Jimmy, so it's good.
And you've played with some greats at the back. Played with Ziggy Gordon last year. This year you've got one of my favourite defenders in the competition, Anton Mladic.
Yeah.
We saw it against Sydney United. He's more than happy to get the crowd going, to get in the face of the opposition fans. Have you sort of had to become the calming one at the back? Well, you would have had with Ziggy Gordon, knowing Ziggy Gordon as well. You would have been the calm one there, but have you had to do the same thing at Marconi?
I'd say I'm a bit more calmer than Anton, yeah. I'd say,
just a little bit?
just a little bit.
Now, we will get to talking about you on international duty, but when you were away with South Sudan, how did you follow the NPL? Did you have group chats with the teammates? Were you able to watch any of the highlights? Like, how did you follow the results when you were away?
I was able to watch one of the late ones, and then I just sent in a message, good luck, boys, for the other one. So, yeah, just watched a bit of the highlights as well. So.
And just on representing South Sudan, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to represent your home country and be able to wear the colours?
Yeah, it means a lot because, you know, like, I've imagined it happening for so long, and then to finally do it is something that you can't really prepare for, you know, so you just have to go and you see a lot of things and you enjoy it, and yeah.
How does it actually work? Were you in constant contact or semi-regular contact with the coach or the federation? And, you know, who initiated it? Did they reach out to you? Did you make it known to them that you were eligible and eager to play? Or was it more through players in the team that you were able to build that connection and get the call up?
No, kind of through the federation. They just kind of were in contact with me and seeing if I was available, and then I said yes, and then I didn't hear a lot back, and then we went back and forth, and we finally got to a point where they said, you're coming, and then I was still waiting for like itinerary, and then after it all kind of went through with the club, and then I was good to go, so yeah.
Well, how many flights, how many hours in transit was it to play in the first cap, or was it all fairly straightforward?
The first one was something like around 30 hours with some layovers. And the way back was a fair bit.
In terms of finding your best and being prepared as an athlete, tell us about that experience. I mean, for starters, you scored on your international debut, which was fantastic. But how did you prepare yourself to find your best, given the immense amount of travel you had to do?
I'd say it comes down to preparation. I seen something I was saying, like, preparation isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And then I kind of just decided that I'll be ready and I'll give my best, and happened to score, and yeah. Just
how different a football experience was it compared to what you've experienced in Australia and what you've played? Like, was it just natural and almost the same once you were out on the pitch, or were the circumstances, the travel, the environment, the crowd, was it just a totally different feeling?
Yeah, totally different feeling. I mean, the first 20, 30 minutes I was quite nervous, and I don't really get nervous for games, but when you're singing the national anthem and, you know, like, you think of the millions of people that you're representing, it's just a whole different ballgame. I think international football in itself is just completely different to regular club football.
Yeah, and I've seen the story, you know, with the Kuol family and the sacrifices that were made to get to Australia. We're all proud to be Australian at the end of the day. But how proud of a moment was it for mum and dad to see you wearing the South Sudanese colours?
Yeah, I mean, it meant the world to them and myself. I mean, I think I'd never seen my father more prouder, you know, and he didn't say it, but just his body language and everything just the day before I left. And it kind of just probably made me a bit more anxious to, you know, play, but I was really proud to see him happy, so yeah.
And first of many?
Yeah, hopefully.
Do you envisage a time where the Socceroos will play South Sudan and it could be family versus family? Or have you even discussed that possibility yet?
I've thought about it when I was younger, because seeing, you know, the Boateng siblings doing that, and I think there's been a couple, not too many, but I think it'd be amazing to see it, yeah.
Yeah, and with that first cap, that milestone, how do you see it trajectorying your career?
I think it can be very good and very transforming, because I feel a lot more comfortable already, and if the call-up happens again, I'll be ready to perform and play, so yeah.
How do you see where the NPL sits? Because it is a very demanding competition. It has almost, I would say, the demands of professional football, but obviously the circumstances, the money, the hours you can allocate to it are still only semi-professional, even at a very top club that is as close to the professional as you can get, like Marconi. So What's the NPL doing to support your football in terms of a good environment to play in, to train in, good teammates and so forth?
Yeah, it's doing a lot. I mean, I've come across a lot of ex-pros or players that went and played pro from NPL. So you're kind of in an environment where you can develop and you can play lots of games at a pretty good level. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of chat around, the players in the NPL, the level of player in the NPL. And as Teo was just saying before, I've seen a few quotes prior. They said if you gave NPL players 5 days training, 6 days training, and let them go professional, you'd see so many more talents in that top level. Do you feel like that could be the same?
100%. I mean, I think the levels of fitness and intensity and hours of training is a lot more in a professional environment. But I mean, a lot of NPL players can adjust, that are good enough, that are ready. And I don't see there being no reason why an NPL player couldn't,
So Teng, if you had to pick your dream five-a-side, who's on the lineup?
I think first would be my brother, Garang.
Mm-hmm.
Be in the squad for sure. Then Alugla.
Absolute superstar. I
Yeah.
agree with you there.
Because it's five-a-side, yeah.
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 You got to have a goalkeeper in there.
Yeah. Seth Clark.
Okay, Seth Clark, good
Yeah.
pick. You got a handy team so far. It's a good first three.
Yeah, you got to be good in tight spaces and stuff. So, and I'd say Marcus Yunus.
Ooh.
Marcus, yes, definitely.
Okay, you got four ballers there. Who are you putting in goal?
Honestly, I play with a lot of good goalkeepers, but I'd probably put myself in there. And then we'll just.
Well, I was going to say Jack Gibson, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think I'll put myself, and then we'll play all out attack. And yeah,
Fair enough. So if you score 7 goals, if you concede 6, doesn't matter if you still won the game.
that's exactly right.
It's a fun team, man. Thank you. I would love to see that team assembled, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Mr. Sestak can sort you out with some gloves as well.
Well, Teng, we wish you all the best for the rest of the season at Marconi. We hope there are plenty more call-ups for international football. And thank you for joining us on Kickoff. Any final thoughts about what you're hoping to achieve with Marconi? I know it's still a long time, 20 games to go in the home and away season, but is it as simple as trophies are the benchmark? You want to win it all?
Yeah, I think all the competitions we're in are up for grabs. I wouldn't say it's going to be easy, but when you put your best foot forward and you work hard, I think it's all possible. So, yeah.
Teng Kuol, thanks for joining us on Kickoff.
Thank you very much.
Big thanks to Teng Kuol for joining us, and yes, hopefully plenty more caps for South Sudan to come. And as he was leaving our chat, he did mention that he's hoping to keep the cap count going and test his options and see where his football can take him. And given his form, why not? Because he's in stellar form this season.
Yeah, definitely a player to look out for, and definitely a player in a competition at the moment that is up there with the high standards.
We're going to flip it over to NPL Women's next, and one of the rising stars of the competition, Poppy Channing, will be our guest on the other side of this break.
MITA is the official ball sponsor of NPL New South Wales and Football New South Wales Leagues competitions. Visit MITA Sports Australia for all your football needs. MITA, a different league.
Welcome back to Kickoff. It's time to talk NPL Women's at New South Wales, where 2, arguably 4 teams have separated themselves in the first cluster of games of the season. We're all actually eagerly anticipating that first clash between Apia and UNSW, but from the UNSW side of things, we have Poppy Channing who joins us. Poppy, great to see you.
Hi, nice to be here.
Now, we're recording this podcast before the weekend, and it probably won't come out until after you play against Gladesville Ravens, one of your former clubs this weekend. So is this a particularly big week for you, or just another game?
Well, I'd love to say it's just another game, but it definitely holds a bit of weight. I had such a great year with the Ravens last year, and I'm so grateful for them, but it will definitely be a big game, and I reckon it'll be a bit feisty.
Take us inside UNSW this season, because thanks in no small part to the season preview. The expectations are pretty high. I think anyone would have said there are high expectations based on the names on paper, the recruiting that was done, and I think just the senior experience. You yourself are a young player, but there are so many players in the prime years or even senior years of their career, and adults tend to win things in the NPL. So how are you finding being a key part of that team playing every weekend?
Well, obviously I'm really grateful to be a part of this, and I guess you could say there's been a bit of hype around UNSW, but we don't like to listen to that. We just like to, play our own game, and I think they've done a really good job with recruitment because we have a really solid team, and I think as a young player, for me, I love it because I get to be around so much experience, and that really helps me develop my game, so yeah.
And when it comes to your game, you're a very mobile defender. You're very much that modern mould of a women's footballer when it comes to defence. Where do you shape your game off? Is there a certain player? Is there a certain style? Is there a certain type of football?
Well, probably Leah Williamson. I don't know if you guys know. Yeah, Linus, captain. Yeah, Arsenal. I think she's an amazing defender. I always look up to her. She's such a ball-playing centre-back and definitely a very modern version. So I base my game around her. And even our own Matilda's Claire Hunt, I think she's so fast and agile, and I think I definitely look up to her because she's also a country player. So that plays a big role in what I shape my game off.
And how important is it that young girls do have someone to look up to like that? There could be someone watching an NPL game on Sunday, looking at Poppy Channing and being like, I want to be like Poppy one day. How important is that?
That would be amazing, but it's so important because, I can see in the JDL girls, we have amazing supporters at UNSW, and we have the ball girls, and you can see how much it means to them. So I was in that position when I was at Spartans. I used to stay home. We just drove 2.5 hours from Bathurst, and I just played, and then I begged my parents, can we watch? I want to watch the first grade. It had Brad Attard, Maya Makovsky, all these amazing players in first grade, and I used to just sit there and watch them for a bit before I went home. So it means a lot, and I think we're shaping the future for them because you can't be what you can't see.
So tell us, you grew up in Bathurst and then moved to Sydney. What was the story there?
Yes, well, I was born in Bathurst. I started playing for Bathurst 75s. I don't know if you know, Ryan Grant used to play for them in the State League back in the day. And then I went to Western Mariners, played with all the girls when they were a side. Then I went to NPL, I went to Nepean, and then I played at Spartans for 2 years, and then I moved to Sydney for Westfield Sports High School, and then I played another year at Spartans, unfortunately got relegated, moved to Ravens, had a great year there, and now I'm at UNSW.
So in terms of your ambitions of where you want to go, you've had a bit of a taste of the A-League, training on with Sydney FC all through the summer. And now you're in an A-League team where you've got players like Angelique Christodoulou, Demi Koulizakis, Georgia Plessis, Leah Puxty. They've all been in the system. They all kind of have the experience that they can relay to you about not just what it takes to get there, but what it takes to stay there. They all played for at least 2 clubs, and the experience of, getting in at one and maybe, being let go and having to fight their way into another. What are you learning from them as you kind of walk your own path and try to meet your own goals?
Yeah, well, obviously they have so much experience in the A-League, like you've said. Our team's got so many talented players, and they're definitely teaching me. They're teaching me a lot. I've got to work hard because as a younger player going in, you have to really earn your spot, and you don't just walk in there and have respect. You got to earn it, and I think they're teaching me that, and you have to really work hard.
And just on Leah Puxty, she has to be the chief vibes officer at the UNSW, surely.
She has to be the what, sorry?
The chief vibes officer.
Oh, 100%. I love Puxty. She's one of my best mates there. She's so funny, and she's always a good vibe.
Yeah, and it's important to have, I think it's important to have 1 or 2 of those in the squad. We had the fortunate opportunity of working with the Mariners when the Mariners won the league a few years ago, and I'll tell you what, she was definitely one of those in and around the squad, getting in. She had the music playing, the jokes going around, but she was also there to put an arm around the shoulder when someone needed it. But in terms of the UNSW squad, 4 wins. What's the ambitions going into the year?
Well, obviously we want to try to keep that momentum going. We want to aim high, but also we want to, go about it in a way. We just want to be playing the best football we can, and that's always our goal, is just to play a fluid brand of football that people want to watch. But yeah.
We had Claudio Fabiano on this podcast in the middle of last season talking about the men's promotion challenge, and they obviously ended up winning promotion. And you're a student at UNSW, so you're, on campus, the ground is on campus, it's all there. It feels like it's really set up to be something that could tap into the crowds and the students a little bit more. Are you actively actually trying to drive the crowds up, because you can tell your classmates, hey, Saturday, Sunday, I'm playing and the ground is right there, I'm pointing at it, How do you feel as though the club is growing? Because when we spoke to Claude, there was no shortage of ambition to build UNSW's entire football program. And at that point, the women were in the top flight and the men weren't, and the men were chasing that goal. And now you're both there at the same time. So how do you feel as though the club, I know you've only been there a short time, but what's been the environment and the atmosphere that you've walked into about where they are trying to grow as a football club?
Yeah, well, I think that was always on the table whenever I had my discussions with the move to UNSW. They're very ambitious, definitely, when I was talking to them. I think that, as you said, I definitely get all my friends. I'm like, guys, I'm playing this weekend. I've got a few friends on accommodation, so I try and get them down to the VG. It's such a great setup for everyone. It's right on campus, obviously. It's got good facilities, but like you said, yeah, we're very ambitious, and it's like a big family. The men will come and support us, and we support them, and even like the men's coach, Gabe Knowles, he can't get away from it. He's at our sessions, he takes some of them. Zoran's very involved, our first grade coach, with them. So it's just a big family, and we're all working together to go upwards. And like even the JDL's growing, as we see. Like they've recruited in the JDL. We're just trying to really go to where we need to be.
As far as your own game, I know Abs asked about, talked about some of your characteristics as a player, but what are some of the instructions that you're getting and some of the coaching that you get? Because even just in the last 12 months, you've now played for Lauren Phelps at Gladesville, you've played for Zoran at UNSW, you started the season at Sydney FC with Ante Juric, and then James Slaveski came in. And the way the Sydney players talk about Slaveski, he's clearly got a lot of good ideas about football. So what are some of the individual instructions and some of the things you're being told about? We've heard about what the players may have told you about how to get there, but what do the coaches want? Because sometimes they can want very different things.
Yes, well, as you said, James was a good coach. Ante was good too. Probably the biggest thing that I'm being told is to play the ball simple. I think sometimes that can be overlooked. Like a lot of times centre-backs want to play a lot of killer passes, which is obviously important, but I think a really important thing is just to play simple. Our ball is to keep possession. I think something really important that I've heard even from people like Leah Blaney they want like good diag balls as a centre-back, playing to the wingers, skip passes to the other full-back. They really want me, obviously, like I drive into the midfield. Yep. That's one of my strengths. And so it's about the decision-making after that, like where I play. So, yeah.
And just going back, you said you're living on campus, you're studying on campus.
Yeah.
You're playing on campus. What's it like with your life revolving around UNSW?
It definitely makes it a lot easier because UNSW is like an hour away from where I live. So because I'm on campus, I can go study and then I can hang out with my teammates in accommodation, which is also good for team bonding. I've had a lot of good memories with them. And then I can come and I can play after I do all that. So it's a really productive day and it really sets me up so I can make the most of my time when I'm at UNSW.
And what are you studying at uni, if you don't mind asking?
At UNSW, I'm studying a double degree. So I'm doing media and then arts. Media, I'm majoring in communications and journalism. And then in arts, I'm majoring in sociology.
And what got you inspired into doing all of that?
Well, I've always really admired people like yourselves who are in the media, and
What a guest. First guest we've ever had.
Bring them back. I'd love to be able to shape the women's game, and I think it's really important to have exposure about like even just the NPL competition, because that feeds into Women's A-League, and it's so important to have visibility of these tournaments, these leagues. And then also my mum's a social worker, and so she does a lot of great work there. So it would be amazing to be able to follow her path and do good in the world.
And just on that, Tara, yourself, you do a lot of work around women's football. We've got a women's footballer here, and I learned very early into our media career at UBF that it's important to give the girls just as much time as you do the boys when it comes to football. At the end of the day, I feel it's needed a lot more, needed the attention. How important is it that, giving a future media person like yourself and those already doing media to give the girls that much more time?
It's so important because obviously there's always been investment in the men's game, and it's only been recently that the women's game has been able to evolve after we have had that investment, as you've seen in the Matildas. The Matildas, they've had investment and you've seen what they've done. They've built a national global brand. So I think if you could give even just like a quarter of that investment into the Women's A-League or the NPL, I think it could really shape the game into something even more important. And at UNSW, I think we back the women's as much as the men's. It's one of the first clubs I've been a part of that have been doing that. We've gotten a lot of media for the men's and women's, and a lot of the resources are split. So that's been amazing.
Well, having strong advocates who can, articulate the case, we're seeing it with the PFA and their players at the moment talking about what they want the A-League women's to become. It's great to hear you speaking in such a similar glowing manner about what the NPL can do and the visibility of that competition. So hopefully that continues. Now we have a couple of segments to finish with. Abs is going to ask you some quick fire questions. No thinking, just give us the first answer that comes to mind, please.
All right.
So inside the dressing room, who is the funniest in the squad?
Well, we mentioned it before, it'd have to be Leah Puxty.
Who's best dressed?
Oh, I'll give that to Lexi Marino.
All right. Who's always late to training?
Now, no shade, but it's definitely the Newcastle girls, Milan and Puxty.
Well, who spends the most time in front of the mirror?
Oh, probably Demi Koulizakis.
Fair enough.
Former guest of this podcast,
Yes.
So we're going to play nice.
She's got to get that slick back.
Now, this is the important one. Who's on the tunes in the dressing room?
Oh, that would be Sky. We've always got some doof in the changing rooms
We're
going.
doing one of these ones all the time.
Literally.
Which player do you see having a big season ahead?
Oh, that's hard because a lot of them. I definitely would say Alexia Carastal. I know she's gone off doing her 3 months in Indonesia for futsal, but I'd say Lex.
And who would make the best coach in the future?
Ooh. That would have to go to, I'd say maybe Ange. She's doing some work with Endeavour at the moment too, so yeah.
Yeah, great to see. One of our favourites, actually, Chris Tadulu, and a long-time player in the NPL as well, always flying the flag for this competition.
Yes.
So it is only young in your career, but you can choose any teammates that you've had for your dream five-a-side squad.
Okay.
Who are you picking?
Well, this is a hard one, but in goals, I've obviously toss up between Erin Naylor and Sham, but I had a great season with Sham last season. She's a great leader, so I'd have to put her in goals. Then centre back.
Sham Karmas for anyone unaware.
I'll
yes?
do full name Sham Karmas.
That's all right.
She's the GOAT, so if you don't know her by Sham, then. But also Taryn King, I put her in centre back. Also at Raven, she was so amazing. She's the best leader, great person. She organises, she tells me what to do, just what I need.
They very much balanced the side when they came in last year.
Oh, 100%. They were massive for the team. Great recruitment. Then in midfield, UNSW's own Lexi Marino. She's great, very technical baller. And then Indy Dos Santos, I'd have to put her in midfield too. Amazing player, name speaks for itself. And then at striker, I put Alyssa Ngsad. She's doing amazing things right now at Wanderers.
Bright future ahead for her as well.
Not only is it a good team, it's a team with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
So a few good investments in that five-side squad for the future, I think. Poppy, thanks so much for giving us a bit of insight into UNSW. All the best for the rest of the season. We're all hanging out for that first clash with Apia. It's going to be fascinating to see, who strikes the first blow. And from a personal point of view, even though people will be listening to this after the weekend, all the best against Gladesville. Hopefully there's no hard feelings, and all the best to UNSW both this weekend and for the rest of the campaign.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Big thanks to Poppy Channing. Tell you what, buttering us up as hosts is such an easy way to win us over, isn't it? But she had a lot of good insights into what she's doing as a footballer, what her teammates are doing, and she's got a real passion for following the rest of the NPL. So you know that she's going to be a very well-educated player on all the opponents she's going to be facing this season.
Yeah, it's nice to see someone take a liking to Australian football. You know, European football is the spectacle that it is, but to see someone like Poppy take a liking not just to Australian football, but Australian football media as well is pretty cool.
So we're going to stick with the women's theme because we haven't checked in with League One women's yet on kickoff this season. So to bring us up to speed, we're going out to the SD Raiders on the other side of this break.
Day after day, Kappa rewrites the concept of sportswear. Kappa means teamwork, past, present, and future. Kappa never stops, 'cause winning starts within. 2 people, 1 brand. Kappa.
Time for our leagues chat on kickoff, and this week the focus is on League One Women's, where perhaps the promotion picture is not quite clear yet, and one of the teams that are hoping to push up and be candidates to win first place and go up this season are the SD Raiders, and joining us is Jess Neville from the team. Jess, great to have you on kickoff. Thanks for joining us at Valentine Sports Park.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So we only check in, once every 2 episodes on League One Women's on kickoff. So tell us about your perception of the season so far. How have you found the standard of competition, and what's sort of the buzz around your teammates, but also, what you're seeing from the opposition to give you a gauge on where the competition is at this season?
Yeah, look, it's definitely improved the quality of the competitions. Like, it's anyone's game. We're always looking at the results after every week, and we're like, oh wow, like there's always upsets. It's just no guaranteed wins like it used to be a few years ago. So it's definitely more competitive than it has been beforehand, which is a good thing to see. Like, it just means that the game's growing, especially in the female domain. So yeah, just excited to see what everyone has to offer, because it's still early days. We still haven't versed everyone, and I think we're still just mistaking teams that previously were easier games, and they're normally more challenging for us this year when we haven't had that struggle beforehand. So yeah.
And the Raiders have come close in the last couple of seasons, almost got promotion. What's different from the last 2 years that the Raiders have seen to this year?
So look, the past 2 years we've had really good defence, like generally one of the best defence in the leagues. That's been our strongest point. We've just always struggled with scoring goals, which I think that's what we finally fixed this year. Like, scoring 6 goals against St. George, that would generally take us like 6 games last year.
14 goals in 3 games at one point.
Yeah, so it's pretty insane. So I think we've really fixed that issue of attacking and scoring goals, and that's come from recruits. So we've got Marky Robinson, she's a young gun, and Aoife Horgan, our Irish international. So they've been really clinical in finding the back of the net.
So talk to me about that youth. Obviously, you've got Marky Robinson on that left wing at the moment. You've got your centre-back partner, Lane, at the moment, who is fairly young herself. What's it like developing the youth into that squad?
Oh, look, the whole team is quite young. Like, we've got probably 2 or 3 over 30. Everyone else is low 20s or even under 20. So it's always been a young squad overall, and they always just push for youth to keep playing up. So I think that's something the club should be proud of. They're always looking at bringing up youth and how can they build up their youth.
Yeah, and Aoife Horgan, she has the most beautiful catalogue of goals I've seen so far this year, and we're only about 7 weeks into the competition. What's she like to train with? What's she like to play with?
Oh, she's great. I wish we had her years ago, to be honest. Yeah, she's great. She's clinical. She's fun, entertaining. Like, she just brings good vibes. She's fit in so well. Like, you wouldn't think that she's only just joined the club this year. Feels like we've all been together for years, this team.
Is this the first club in Australia she's played for, or what's her backstory?
So she played college in America. She finished last year. She has family here. So she joined with her sister last year in Holroyd, which is just a local team, and playing in like that Women's Premier League for that area that they were in. And then they basically said, like, you're too good for that. Try NPL. And then funny enough, so I was playing futsal at SD Raiders, and Holroyd was sort of looking after that club futsal, and so that was sort of the connection. They were like, yeah, bring her over, come over.
How would you describe the overall club? Because the men are up in the top flight at the moment. They got to play against MacArthur in the Australia Cup, so they've been flying, as prominent as they've probably ever been. Has that had sort of a flow-on effect to the overall club and maybe the collective ambition of everyone involved at the moment? Yeah,
look, the club's always been trying to build up their players. They're not ones to like go and poach people. They're always looking to bring up players, and they're always pretty big on how the boys are going. They always talk about, all right, the boys' success, or if they're last year their cup game, they'd try and say, hey girls, do you want to go to the game? Things like that. We're always trying to looking at their celebrations and their wins as well, and sort of look at a whole club holistic perspective.
Yeah, and it's very much a family feel. You look at Catherine Canula, you look at Goran Luboya, they're very much the same. And the way the club wants to head in that direction, is it very much that?
Yeah, it's very much a big family. They're always looking at however they can celebrate something, barbecues, food, cakes after training, team dinners, bonding sessions. It's just always been that morale for the past few years, so like going out together, even if it's just for food. Like I've never eaten that much food at a soccer club in my life. And I was at Marconi before. And we eat more now at SC Raiders.
And there's a fun fact, I'm pretty sure this is true, Tao. The SD Raiders have a player that's actually played with Ronaldinho.
Is that true?
Tayana Almeida.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
The Zaga Benito
The
game.
Ronaldinho game, yeah.
So what's she like in training? What's she like to play with? Because I've seen bits and pieces of how she plays, and she is as Brazilian as it gets.
She is just one energy bubble. Like, I think she needs to be studied. She's so crazy. She's just brings the vibes every session. And no matter how much sleep she's had, how many energy drinks she's had, she's just next level craziness, which is good because it helps the younger girls really feel like welcomed and supported. So she's really good with them as well. But yeah, she's just crazy, dancing, whatever. As you tell her anything to do, she'll do it. She was doing cartwheels. Any new celebration she finds, she's trying it in the change room, at training, whatever. She's just here for the vibes.
That's what I was going to say. We've seen it on the socials as well. Half the sides become Brazilian with the celebrations. They're scoring and it's like they're in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, she basically tries to teach us new celebrations. She's trying to teach us different slang words to use. So we're coming up with, I call it Thai language, because then no one's going to understand us in the field.
No, it could be a competitive advantage, yeah.
Do you have any Brazilian or Portuguese, to say?
Oh, I wouldn't be allowed to say it on here. We've only learnt the bad words so far, but we're pretty good on vamos.
Now, you mentioned earlier the sort of the competitiveness of the league. Where do your eyes, when you're looking at the scores, you finished your own game, you want to see what happened in the other games, which team do your eyes go to first? Who are you keeping the closest tabs on in that promotion race this year?
Yeah, definitely Newcastle, only because we haven't played them before. It's the first time in our league, so we don't know what they're like. And again, they're pumping teams quite often, so it's quite eye-opening. And Blacktown Spartans as well seem to be up there as well, getting a few wins in. And yeah, so basically those two we're keeping a close eye on.
Was there any collective discussion of what the expectations were, whether that was set by the coach, by the team leaders? Like, has there actually been any established benchmark or target that you're aiming for, or is it just push as far as we can, see how far we can go?
Look, the past year or so, the goal has been promotion. We've slowly been getting there, like finishing first 2 years ago and then just missing out with the grand final loss last year. So we're just getting that one step closer. So collectively, really pushing to get promoted as a club.
Well, if you look at the ladder, you've beaten the team just below you in Marconi. You've beaten the two teams above you in South Coast and Nepean. You haven't played the Spartans yet. You haven't played the Jets. So you've got one less game, less played than the top three at the moment. You win that game in hand, you're on 15 points, 2 points behind the Jets. Do you see the side making its way up to the top level of women's football in New South Wales?
Yeah, for sure. We generally do play our best games against those better teams. We bring that intensity to them. We generally get caught lowering our intensity to lower intense teams. So I'm excited, and we generally are more G'd up for higher up games, just because we know it's going to be more intense, it's quicker pace, and it's more of our style. So yeah, we quite look forward to them.
Now, we want to get to know just a little bit more about you, but also the club. So we're going to finish with some rapid-fire questions. No time to think. Just give us your first answer as Abs asks you each question. All
right. Favourite moment in your playing career?
Oh, grand final win with Marconi. Sorry.
Ooh, that's a bit controversial there. Any pre-game ritual you always stick to?
Walk my dog in the morning.
What's your dog's name?
Kobe, Black Labrador.
Shout out to
Dumb
Kobe.
dog.
Dumb dog. All right. Best advice a coach has given to you?
Oh, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
I've heard that one a few times around the SD Raiders, to be fair with you.
Yeah.
Breakout star this season at the club?
Oh, Sharina Harris, but not on the score sheet, just on the field. Yeah. Spine of the team.
What position? What does she do?
Defensive mid. Honestly, if she's not on the field, there is no structure in the field. Like, she's just the spine of the team. I think she's just like, you don't see her much because she's not on the score sheet, but if she's not out there, you will notice it for sure.
And best player you've played against?
Ooh, Darcy Malone.
Fair enough. Team you most look forward to playing?
Newcastle.
And an opposition player you'd love your team to sign? Could be anywhere. Well, within the leagues at least, within the NPL and League One.
Both leagues?
Yeah, why not? If there's someone you got in mind, someone the team could really use.
Ooh, Miriam Zamaya, want her left foot back.
Ooh, that's a good shout.
That's a very good shout.
I think going a bit like Marky Robinson, Miriam Zamaya's going places, but, hey, if SD Raiders win promotion, you never know.
Left foot, corners, straight to Ty's head. Goal every game.
I'm going to put in an impromptu one. Greatest Raider of all time.
Greatest Raider?
Yeah, SD Raider.
Player?
Player.
What do you mean?
Who's the best player to ever play at the SD Raiders? Female football.
Tash. She's won Golden Boot. Well, goalie of the year. Not Golden Boot. Goalkeeper of the year 2 years in a row. So it's pretty hard to beat.
One of the
Pretty lucky
safest
to
hands
have
in
it.
the competition as well.
Yeah.
Well, Jess, all the best chasing promotion this season. Thank you for giving us some insights into what it's like at the SD Raiders. There's obviously a pretty good vibe and a lot of good talent around the club, so hopefully it can reflect in the results and you can enjoy the journey as well. Thanks for joining us on Kickoff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And a big thanks to Jess Neville from the SD Raiders, who, Abs, you've had a bit to do with in a media sense. It was pure coincidence that you had interviewed her at the weekend from that game against Nepean, and now she's our guest on Kickoff. But what a fantastic guest, giving us some great insights into her team and club.
Yeah, she was delighted to see me today. So, but she's a wonderful captain, a wonderful player, and we loved having her on.
So what's in your calendar? What are you looking forward to in a football sense? I'm sure you'll be making a presence out and about wherever you go, but what's maybe jumping off the calendar to you?
Definitely looking forward to Gladesville Ravens versus Arpia in a few weeks. Fortunate enough to be on that women's match of the round. Lena Karmas' move into the Ravens for me was a massive move. And you look at the Arpia side, especially with Ash Letter up front. It's definitely shaping up to be a good clash. And, I've loved the women's NPL for a while. And I think seeing a team like the Western Sydney Wanderers, I mentioned earlier, really grow. I think on my agenda, keeping an eye on that competition, but also not losing sight of that men's competition because it's starting to take shape.
Yeah, and we're at a third way point of the season and the weather is still warm. So regardless of where I end up over the next month, I hope I can just hold on to being able to wear shorts for 4 more weeks. We'll see how we go. Abs, thanks so much for joining me. Anything you need to plug on social media that you'd like people to follow if they want to hear more of you?
If you want to follow us on UBF Official, on Instagram, on TikTok, we're on there as well. On YouTube, we've got the About Football podcast. Shout out to Thomas as well. Like I said, I'm usually used to sitting next to him, but you know what? Teo, I think you may have topped it.
No, let's look, very happy that you've fit in seamlessly. Thank you for joining me for the podcast today. If you want to hear more of Kickoff, it's where we had the season previews, but also player interviews, and we love that the players come out and join us at Valentine Sports Park for these. So make sure you subscribe, don't miss an episode. Why not rate us 5 stars while you're there, wherever you get your podcasts, and you can keep watching the League One match of the round in men's and women's, and also all of the streaming for the top division men's and women's NPL on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. On behalf of Abdul, Salam, I'm Teo Pellizzeri. Thanks for joining us on Kickoff for another episode. We'll speak to you again soon.
She gets around Dunbar, out wide, but she puts it in the net. Lovely strike, lovely bit of play.
Oh, and he's looking to catch the goalkeeper out. It is an unbelievable goal.